So today we're going to work on exercises to help with our hips and our backs, especially lower backs. So let's start laying on our backs, and if you happen to have a foam roller, keep it nearby. And whatever the easiest, safest way for you to find yourself on your back, shoulder blades are flat underneath you. And just take a moment and feel the connection of your body to the mat. Feel the connection of your body in the room. And wherever you are, just take a moment. And just notice how you're breathing. Let go of, am I doing this right? Just simply breathe. And as you inhale, feel your rib cage expanding, but think of it as pressing into the earth and wider. And as you exhale, just let everything out. Let go of everything you don't need. Let go of competition, judgment, expectation. Inhale all the wonderful possibilities that you can enhance in your life. And just bring your hands by your hips and let's just start to rock back and forth. So feeling your lower back getting a nice tiny little massage. So you're rocking from your belly button to the floor, to the tailbone to the floor. And you can allow your hands to come back down next to your hips and see if just initiating from your pelvis, what happens to the rest of your body. I'm exaggerating a little so you can see that when my belly button comes down, my chin comes down, and when my tail comes down, my chin comes up. I'm not forcing that, I'm just letting my pelvis guide my spine. If it helps, you can close your eyes. Whatever helps you focus on what you're doing right here and now. And then find yourself into as much of a neutral spine as possible. So feel the back of your head, the back of your rib cage, and your pelvis on the mat. You can bring your hands back to your hip bones and just rock a little side to side. Now, if you're finding yourself unsure about this, a really great way to get into it is to bring your legs together and just let your knees drop a little side to side. Just enough that you feel yourself rocking from one hip to the other. And that's all you need to do, really. And once you get a little more in tune, you can go about hip width apart and just do the same thing. And you'll notice instead of hiking the hips up like this, you're actually just dropping a little side to side. And all of this already feels great in the back. Coming back center, exhale, belly button to the mat. Then let your right hip come down, go down to your tailbone and go down to your left hip and come back to the belly button. And then reverse it. So we're making little hip circles. In Pilates, they call this a pelvic clock. So you think of your belly button as 12 o'clock and your hip is either 6 or 3. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Your hip is either 6 or 9. And your tailbone, I keep saying 6, but you know what I mean. So forget that. Let's just go in circles. Obviously, I don't know how to tell time. And then come center. So from here, let your arms float up to the sky, and let's just bring one arm behind us at a time and just getting into our shoulder mobility. So I know we're focusing on lower back and hips, but we do want full body movement. And you can play around with this. What feels right and good to you? Maybe do both arms together. And just notice what you feel when you do it. The next time your arms come back, stay there. Just feel that possible opening in the chest. You'll know exactly where you need to feel this. You'll kind of know what you did the day before by how your body responds. Bring your arms back up and bring them out to the side. And bring them back together. So we're doing a flow of a chest fly. Even though it's not with weights, you're getting some movement in that area. And then from here, bring your arms into a goal post and let your arms fall down by the sides of your bodies. Your elbows are a little lower than your armpits. And just stay here for a moment. Hopefully you're able to do this without any uncomfortableness. And then bring your arms back to your hips. And we're going to grab your right leg with your right hand, your left leg with your left hand. Poke your toes to the wall in front of you and slowly roll all the way up. So if by any chance you found that challenging, we're definitely in need of working more lower back. So I'd like for you to grab your foam roller, and we're going to have a seat on it. So what is the easiest way for you to sit on your foam roller? And you, depending on your height, depends on where you want to sit. I am very long-waisted and tall, so I'm bringing my hips down to the edge of the roller so that when I lay back, my head can rest comfortably on the roller. So find yourself that your spine is lengthwise on the roller, and you're just here for a moment finding your balance, and we're just going to rock a little side to side again. And just hopefully you're feeling a nice massage in your back. Then find your center and walk your feet together and just slowly open and close your legs. So now we're getting into some hips. We're just starting on the floor, legs open and close. And walk your feet slightly apart and just open your right leg, come back center, open your left leg, just one leg at a time. And you'll notice, is this super challenging? How can we find more stability in our hips? More body awareness? And then take a moment, keep your legs together and walk your feet to the wider edges of the mat. And notice, are you feeling anything deep into your hips here? And then come back center and reach your arms back to the sky. Palms can be facing each other or away, it doesn't matter. Just hug your shoulder blades around the roller and then reach your fingertips to the sky as you separate your shoulder blades. So you're going to come down and up, plugging in and releasing. It should feel therapeutic. And then palms together. Let's do those chest flies again. Notice, are you going to one side or the other? Can you find your evenness? Can you balance it out? What side do you tend to go to? And then now, one arm behind you at a time again. And I think this feels really great. I've been working on improving the push-up, which we will do today. And I'm noticing that it is working. I could feel those muscles. Now let's go back to opening to the side and see how that feels to you. This might be all you need to do. You should feel a nice stretch in your chest, but maybe it doesn't feel so awesome to you. And you need to prop yourself up on a couple yoga blocks. Maybe it's not enough and you want to go into a goalpost. Same thing, if this is challenging, if you find this is making your rib cage pop up, can you park a couple yoga blocks under your forearms by your elbows so that it gives you a little more ease into the stretch. And the more you do it, the more you will eventually be able to get your forearms to the floor. My hope is you're feeling that deep chest stretch. And you could do this for as long as you like. But for right now, we're going to move on and we're going to bring your arms back to the sky. And we're just going to bring them back to your hips. And let's just lift your right leg up to tabletop. And from here, open to a little to the right and come back center. And again, out to the side and center. And one more time, center, bring that leg down and let's go to the other leg. Lift it up and just a little. So you want to keep everything in alignment. So look at your knee, make sure that if you see anything, it's barely your toe, but hopefully you don't see your foot at all. Come back center. Lift your right leg up again. Left arm up as you open your right leg to the right, open your left arm to the left, and come back center. And keep this going. Bring both your arm and foot down. Lift your left leg up, lift your right arm up, and open left to left, right to right. And come back down again. Let's massage that spine again. We've been laying on that for a while, so hopefully it feels really good in your back. So last week we introduced an exercise I really enjoy, and we'll just keep working towards it. So I want your hands together, and if you were to draw a line, I think of Charlie's Angels, if you were to draw a line from your fingertips, it would land right into your sternum on a diagonal. So pressing into your right foot, I want you to roll onto the right side of your body, laying on the right side of your body on the roller. And then you're going to press into the roller and come back center. Now try it on the other side. You're going to press into the left side of your body and roll to the left. And come back center. So maybe this is feeling overwhelming to you, which is totally normal. Maybe you just do a little. Maybe you just get to the outside of your hip and then come back. So you could do that maybe on one side for a little and try the other side a couple. Just taking your time. I just cramped up. And go to the other side. And come center, and don't ask me why I'm cramping up. I'm just cramping up my hamstring. So I cramped in here, so while we're here, if you do find yourself cramping in a muscle, you want to kind of go into it. So I am lengthening and pressing my leg into my hand to release the cramp, which I just did. So there are other ways. For example, if you cramped up in your calves, if you're cramping low into here, all you need to do is flex your heel to the sky and it'll completely release the cramp. If it's way up here, you might need to use your hand, I'll use it from this side, and just pull the top of that foot towards you so you can release that cramp up here. So since it happened, I figured we might as well address it. So from here, we're going to roll off the roller and set it aside for right now. And we're going to go right into some really yummy back work. Back and hip. So your feet are on the wide edges of the mat, and we're just going to start windshield wipering your legs side to side. We do this in every class, and we do it for a reason. It's really good for so many things. So the next time both legs drop to the left, stay there. You can let yourself be neutral. Head is looking straight ahead like I am right now. Shoulders away from your ears. Place your hands behind your head. And maybe walk your right foot a little more right. From here, feel energy pressing from the back of your leg forward. So think of your right thigh bone pressing forward, and you should feel a nice stretch in the front of that thigh. On your next breath, whether it's an inhale or exhale, just let it release. If you happen to feel a pull in your knee, walk your foot in a little closer towards the left leg. If you feel even more of a pull, just throw that foam roller right in between your legs and let it rest there. It should really help release it. Now take your right elbow and pick it up and bring it all the way up and over to the floor on the left side. So I'm going to turn around so I can see you guys. So your legs are to the left, your arm comes all the way up and over to the floor on the left side. My hope is that you feel a stretch in the lower part of your back here, maybe all the way through to your front. Take a few deep breaths here and maybe let that leg relax a little more. Notice if you're holding on to anything. So we're getting into our quadratus lumbarum all the way through to our psoas. This is a really good one for lower back, really good one for hips. Just let yourself release and relax. And then lay completely onto your left side. And you're going to pick up your right elbow. Look at that right elbow and start to roll back. And see if you can get your right shoulder blade to the floor. There's a good chance you won't be able to, which is just fine. I'm challenging myself to keep my knees stacked as I just look up and over that right elbow. Couple deep breaths here. My hope is you're feeling the stretch anywhere from here all the way into your chest, into your back. Feel it big time in the arm. As you exhale, come back center. This time you can let your bottom arm be like a pillow. Reach your top arm, and I want you to reach so far forward that you feel your shoulder blade leaving your arm. Bring your arm to the sky. Turn your head to look up towards your hand. Think of pressing your shoulder blade towards the floor as you roll back. Take a moment here, just stay. Knees should be right in line with the hips. Look over that arm. Feel that chest opening up. And unwind back center. Now from here, this is up to you. You can either be on your forearm like this, or you can lay right back down so that you're resting on your arm. What feels best to you? If you are up on your forearm like this, make sure that your shoulder is right above your elbow and you have a good alignment of your head, neck, and shoulders. Also, notice if you sink, press, like you're pressing into the floor to levitate off the floor. Feel that you have strength in here, hips are even, and you're going to reach that top leg up so it's parallel to the floor. From here, draw tiny little circles with that top foot, almost about the size of a tennis ball. Really lengthen. Your foot is just right over the bottom foot. You're really lengthening. If you need more support, you can bend that bottom leg, but keep that top leg straight so there is a line from your toe through the crown of your head. Reverse the circles. Good. Now from here, just flex that top foot forward, point that top foot back. If you'd like, use opposition in the arms. The next time your leg goes back and your arm comes forward, I want you to reach as far as you can in opposite directions. It should feel good. And then let that bottom leg rest and lay back onto your side. And we're going to roll back to our backs. So from here, we're going to go into some bridges. And we will do the other side, I promise. Shoulder blades underneath you. And let's just go back to those pelvic tilts that we did before pelvic clock. The next time your tailbone comes up, start to lift those hips up one vertebra at a time and feel your knees reaching towards that wall in front of you. Keep lifting up. So here's something else to think about, because this was brought to my attention the other day.
I see a lot of people going like this when they go into bridges. And I have a couple theories as to why. So let's come back down again. So let's go into what I call a yoga bridge. So we're going to press up again. We're going to lift those hips up. Find your bridge, and then for yoga, I like to clasp my hands underneath me and roll one shoulder underneath you at a time. So what I see a lot of when we do that is the flaring of the ribs. Now, can you allow your ribs to come down as you keep your hips up? And notice, did you feel a release in your back? So unwind your arms so they're next to your body and slowly roll down again. So if we don't flare the rib cage, our backs don't seize up. So lift those hips up, one vertebra at a time, one bone at a time. Lift up, lift up, lift up. And see if you are flaring, if you could bring those ribs down and keep those hips up. And notice the difference. Having chronic back pain myself, I can tell you right now I'm not feeling a thing in my back if I bring the ribs down. I'm definitely feeling my hamstrings. Carefully come down. Think of it as a massage as you come down. Reluctantly bringing that spine to the floor. Okay, since we're here, walk your feet to the wide edges of the mat and start windshield wipering your legs again. I'm going to go to the other side so I can see you. Everybody's looking really good. And just take your time, windshield wipering side to side. And the next time your legs drop to the right, stay there. Just take a moment and observe. What are you feeling right now? What are you thinking about right now? Hopefully you're just thinking about what you're feeling. 9 out of 10 times everybody's thinking about what they're going to do for lunch or what their day is like, but just see if you could bring yourself back to here. Now if it feels okay to you, walk that left leg a little more left. And remember my tips for the knee. In fact, I'll just demonstrate it because that left knee is speaking to me today. So having a little extra support is helpful. And then from here, take your hands behind your head, start here, and then lift that top elbow up and bring it all the way up and over to the floor on the right side. Notice what you're feeling. Feeling it all the way from that lower back, all the way through to the front. Maybe you don't feel anything at all. No matter what, it's good for you. And then find your way to laying completely onto your right side. Holding the back of your head with your hands, keeping your knees stacked so they're right on top of each other. Everything is stacked. Watch for, I didn't think to mention this earlier, but watch for the tendency to let that hip lift up. So think of keeping everything lined up. So from here, lift your left elbow up, look at that elbow and start to roll back. So as I roll back, I think of keeping that top knee lined up with the bottom knee, and just to help me stay aligned, I'll take my bottom hand and keep that hip aligned. And you're continuously looking over that left elbow and just allowing yourself to unwind. So you stay here. So what happens, and it's really a cool feeling, is as you continue to stay there, you're going to feel yourself unwinding even more. It's really neat when you could actually feel yourself increasing in flexibility. But you have to be a little patient. With every breath, let go a little more. and unwind back center. And from here, your choice, arm could be here, wherever it's best for you. Reach that top arm forward. So far forward you feel like your shoulder blade's leaving you, and then bring your arm to the sky and keep looking over at that hand as you roll back. And just allow yourself to open up. What side is tighter on you? How is it different? How is it similar? Just let yourself unwind. Take a deep inhale. Take a deep exhale. Let yourself go. Take a moment, see if you're holding on to tension anywhere else in your body. Let it go. Another deep inhale, exhale, release, and come back center in whatever way feels natural and easy for you. So we're going to come back possibly up to your forearm. Everything is elongated. Watch the urge to sink into that elbow. Think of lifting up. Remember, you can lay on your side. If you need more support, bend that bottom knee and lift that top leg, and let's draw those tiny circles. So for my Zoom class, one of you can relate. This is an exercise we used to do way back in college, and every time I do it, I think of it. Reverse the circles. I'm back to being 17 years old again in freshman movement class. And then flex that foot forward and point that foot back and add the arms. Or you could do what I just did, whatever works for you. The next time your leg goes back, let that other arm reach forward, find the length through your body. And come back down. And then from here, we're going to come to sitting. If I forgot something, tell me right away. So we're sort of in a Z sit. Actually, I am totally in a Z sit. And some of us, our hips are feeling it. So you might want to use that foam roller as an extra little lift. It really does take a lot of the strain out of the hip. If it still bothers you, you can sit cross-legged. Whatever is the easiest way for you to sit up like this. So right now, your left leg should be in front, your right leg is behind you, and you're sitting evenly on your hips. And we're just going to lift up your right arm and glide that shoulder blade up and down. And then we're going to lift all the way up and over and feel the stretch in this side of your body. Feel the lengthening. You can have your hand on the floor, wherever it feels best to you. And then come back up and take a counter stretch. Come back up. If you're on the roller, take it off and bring this other leg forward a little more. And we're just going to slowly start to bring our bodies over that leg. So I'm not going far, I'm just staying here. So you're going to feel some work in that hip flexor. Now, if it's available to you, only if it's available to you, I want you to start to lean more over that leg and straighten out your back leg. This might be it. Again, you could put something under that hip to help you. I want this to be doable. If you're okay here, bring yourself all the way down. So now we're in a yoga pigeon. Now my version of pigeon, I'm angled in more because I don't want to feel any strain in the outside of my knee. So if I really workshopped it, I could probably bring my leg a little more so it's parallel to the floor, but I would definitely want to have something supported under my hip so that I'm not pulling into that knee. And I don't know about you, but I am definitely feeling it in that right hip. So we're just going to come back down and release. And just breathe and be aware of what you're feeling.
So there's several things I want you to feel, and one thing I never want you to feel. If you feel any pulling or any uncomfortable feelings in your knee, don't do this. You can start by seeing if you can adjust your positioning. If you're feeling a lot of sensation in the hip area, anywhere below the waist in that hip region, I'm very happy.
And if you can, let your head rest onto your hands and see if you can allow yourself to let that hip release. Remembering that our hips love trauma. And with every breath, see if you can release a little more. And if you're releasing, maybe you can let go of that block. Maybe you can go even deeper into this.
If you can release your arms all the way to the floor, go for it. Maybe you want to lift that back leg up to go deeper into the pose. Notice if you're clenching or holding on to anything anywhere else in your body.
Then mindfully press yourself up and kind of roll to the outside of that hip. Stay here and just start windshield wipering a little side to side, getting into those hips again. And we're going to go into our Z sit on the other side. So you may notice I'm slanted. So on this side, my hip needs a little more support. So I'm going to sit up on that roller, and it makes it so much nicer. So you do what's best for you. That's the message. So from here, lift your left arm up and glide your shoulder blade up and down. You guys are looking pretty good. I hope you're feeling good. Plug your shoulder in, lift up and over. Maybe open that arm a little behind you. Press up, take a counter stretch. Come back down again, and if you can, just sort of widen those legs a little so that you can take that roller out. Make sure you're feeling as comfortable as possible. And we're going to slowly start to just rock a little forward and back here, kind of getting into this. And you're going to find where you can take your pigeon. So if you can, you come all the way over, straighten out that back leg, and see if you can find wherever the best place for your shin is. Lift that back leg and shimmy your way back a little to rest on your thigh, and start to bring yourself down. If you need, place something under that hip. Maybe let your head rest onto your stacked fists. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, and see if you can just let yourself release a little more. I'm not telling the complete truth when I say I would love to hold this longer because it's definitely challenging, but I also know the benefits outweigh what I'm feeling right now. But we are going to unwind out of it and come back up to sitting. So I'm hoping, give me a thumbs up if this is feeling therapeutic to you. Excellent. Okay, so soles of the feet together, knees open. And this is another one. Where do the feet need to be? You're going to just sit nice and tall. Use your ankles as a support so you can sit tall and just let those knees open and close. So you may not be where I'm at. You may be more than where I'm at. Wherever feels great to you. And then extend those legs in front of you. Reach your arms forward and tap them to the floor. Then keeping your spine nice and long, walk yourself forward with a nice flat back. If you maintain a neutral spine here, you're not going far. And then come back up to sitting tall and see if you can do it again. Walk yourself forward, nice long neutral spine. If you're feeling this under your knees, soften your knees a little and come back up to sitting tall. So let's bend our right knee. I need this one today. So we're going to do this. It's good for a lot of things, lower back, hip. Also, it's in Colleen Yee's book, and it's a sequence on forgiveness. So we're going to hold that leg sitting nice and tall. Hug your right leg with your left hand and take your right hand behind you. So I'm hoping it's your right knee that's bent up. Press your hand into the floor, and as you continue to grow tall in your spine, begin to twist and look over that right shoulder. Take an inhale, take an exhale, and see if you can go a little deeper. If you have it within you, you want to increase this. Take your left arm on the outside of that right leg and twist a little deeper. If it's not for you, stay where you are. Keep your legs where they are as you revolve the other direction. So as we sit nice and tall, bring your left arm behind you. Press that hand into the floor as you sit tall and begin to twist to look over your left shoulder. From here, take your right arm on the inside of that right leg, and I want you to press your arm and leg together as you increase your twist. And release, and open up that right leg to the side, and reach forward over that left leg. Nice deep breath. Whew, I hope everybody is feeling something of what I'm feeling, which is deep into the hamstring of the left leg. Keeping the spine nice and long. And then come back up and switch legs. So hugging your left leg with both hands, sitting tall on those sit bones. Hug your right hand over the left leg, bring your left hand behind you. Sit even taller and start twisting and looking over that left shoulder. Think of growing taller and twisting more. If you feel like you can go deeper, take your right arm on the outside of that left leg and twist even more. If it doesn't feel good to you, just hold on to that leg. Think of wringing stuff out. Keep your legs where they are and change the twist of your body. Hug your left leg with your left hand. Take your right hand behind you. Sit tall. Bring your left arm on the inside of that left leg. Press your leg and arm together, and as you sit tall, look up and over that right shoulder. Feel yourself wringing out everything you don't need. Unwind, come back center, reach your arms up, tap the floor and reach forward again. Come back up, bring the roller right here, and from here, we're going to take your hands behind your head. If this is something you need a little more support, bring your hands under your hamstrings. I want your shoulder blades under on the roller, and your hands are holding your head. So you're going to stay here and let your head rest into your hands. So your shoulder blades look like triangles, so you could be a little higher up or a little lower down. You are wherever it is you need to be. Find that spot that you feel you need. Now the other thing is, if you're starting to feel strain in the back of your neck, take a moment and see if you can think of your arms shaped like a hammock and let your head rest into that hammock. If it still bothers you, I have another technique we can work on in a minute. So from here, just hold your head with your hands and see if you can bring your head, neck, and shoulders back, and exhale back up. Take an inhale here, exhale back.
Maybe inhale up. So I'd love for you to challenge yourself to exhale when you go back to keep the ribs from flaring. If this is really knocking you out, just go a little bit, and you can right away lift your hips and start rolling up and down the shoulders. And you're just getting a nice massage in the shoulder area, maybe a little on one side and then the other, whatever feels the best for you. And then carefully place the roller under your neck and just roll your head side to side. Now if you have a smaller roller like I do, mine's 4 inches in circumference, it'll feel really good. The bigger rollers are okay, but they might not get in as deep. And I just want you to feel that massage in the neck. So we're gonna take that roller and place it underneath your feet. So we've already warmed up for this. Apparently I'm still cramping. And we're gonna press into that roller to lift the hips up. So now we're in a bridge with our feet elevated. And do you have a tendency to let those knees plop open? Can you draw those thigh bones towards each other? And think of rolling your feet on the roller. It should increase the sensation underneath. Keep those hips up as you rock a little back and forth. And then slowly roll down again. Take the roller, lift your hips up, place the roller right under your sacrum. We're gonna grab our right leg with both hands. If you like, you could be under your hamstring. If you can reach your shin easily, do that. Gently let your knee reach towards your right armpit. If you'd like to increase the sensation, straighten out your left leg. My hope is you feel a stretch in the front of your left leg, especially in the hip flexor area. Allow that leg to relax into your hand. So we're really getting into some hip stuff. We're getting into the hip flexor, which also helps with the lower back. And if we were to look at Bikram yoga, they say that if you keep your hands in this position about 2 inches below the knee, it helps with healing the upper GI tract. That's what I have been told. I can't tell you it's 100% accurate, but I think it's interesting. And then switch legs. So start with that right leg on the floor and grab your hands on your left shin, or if it doesn't feel good, grab your hamstring, and then start to straighten out that right leg. Gently pull that left knee towards your left armpit as you press that right leg to the floor, feeling the stretch in the top of that leg. It should feel really good. Taking a deep breath, allowing yourself to open up a little more. And if the right leg is upper GI, the left leg is lower GI. I can tell you personally, I've had days where I didn't feel so great in my stomach, and I've done this and I have felt better. It could be a placebo effect, but anything that works to me is awesome. And then slide that leg in and bring both legs in. We're going to take a moment here and extend both legs to the sky. So make sure your shoulder blades are flat underneath you. And let's start with kind of a half bend, and I just want you to bring your legs down a little and up a little. And as you do this, I'm hoping you're starting to feel a little work in those abs. Maybe lengthen out the legs. The longer your legs, meaning the longer the bend in the knee. If your legs are straight, this is the most challenging. The more bend you give your legs, the less challenge. Either way, it's appropriate work for you. Just because I say less doesn't mean it's not working. Now stay at wherever the most challenging part is for you. Roll your legs so that your heels are together, your toes are apart. If you look at your feet, it should look like a New York slice of pizza. And then we're just gonna bend and straighten those legs. which makes me immediately want a piece of raised pizza. So lengthen those legs, bend those legs in. If you feel your back, you're too low. Straighten out those legs completely. Now turn it so that your toes are touching, and then bring your knees in and out like this. So it's almost like you're doing pigeon-toed. Just 2 more. Come back center and pretend you're swimming. You're going to come down as low as you can and up as high as you can, up to perpendicular to the ceiling. And obviously this is work because of the way I'm talking. Can you lengthen out those legs even more? And then bend your knees in, and we're going to bicycle. Extend one leg at a time. And I want you to think of your feet having grown wheels, like roller skates, and they're sliding on that floor. So you may not actually touch the floor, but feel that sensation of gliding that foot in, and reverse it. And then legs together, press your feet down, lift your hips up, remove the roller, grab your hands behind your hamstrings, poke those toes to the wall in front of you, just come all the way up to sitting. We're going to turn around to our hands and knees. I promised you push-up work. So there is nothing wrong with modifying a push-up. It's not a girl push-up, it's just a modification. We're going to start in tabletop and come into cat and cow, a couple cat cows, really good for the back. We're almost there, you stay there. And we're gonna just walk our hands forward into a modified push-up or plank. And all I want you to do is just get into the shoulder joint. Right now I want you to feel how your shoulders move and find where you can stabilize, and then just slightly bend those elbows and push up. So just come down as far as you can, maintaining alignment in your spine. And maybe this feels super easy to you and you want to do it with your legs off. Maybe like me, you need to stay modified. And let's come back into child's pose. Take a deep breath here. Unfold yourself into downward facing dog. Walk your way forward. Roll yourself up. We're going to inhale our hands above our head. Take a lift, I see you. Tilt to the side. Come back center. Go to the other side. Come back center. I want to wish you both love, peace, joy, and wonderful good health always. Namaste.